time, a young girl lived with her father. Her mother died when she was but a child, but now her father remarried. The new wife seemed to be very nice and kind, but the day after the wedding, she revealed her true colors of a mean, cruel woman whose heart was as good as stone. Her father thought nothing of it. He was so enchanted by her beauty. The stepmother and her 2 daughters put the young girl to do all the work. She never dared tell her father, for she knew he would only scold her. So she kept her feelings to herself. As winter came, she began to sleep by the fireplace, and all the cinders would go to her face. The 2 daughters called her Cinderella. As she grew older, she became even prettier than both of her stepsisters put together, which made the stepmother only madder. She made Cinderella do more work than ever before. Cinderella kept all her feelings to herself. One day, a letter came to her father. This is what it said. Dear kind sir, we sincerely invite you to the royal ball. The prince may choose one of your beautiful daughters to be his wife. Signed, King Richard. All the girls except Cinderella started talking. When they stopped talking, this is what Cinderella said. Papa, may I go to the ball too? Yes, you may. All of you will. You must each make your own dress. He handed each girl a gold coin to buy herself a dress. They went into town to buy the material, because that's where you go. And the oldest stepsister, she bought a beautiful pink silk dress and a small container of pearls. The youngest stepsister bought purple satin gold trim. Cinderella thought, I should save some money for later. I might need it. This family treats me awful. But I'm going to stay for now. But I'll get this stuff. I'll just buy something cheaper. So she bought a red cotton. On her way back, she saw a poor woman shouting out weakly, coins for the needy. And then she stopped in despair. Cinderella stood before her and said, this is all the money I have, so it will be for you, and handed her 2 little silver coins. You will surely be blessed, the old woman cried out, but Cinderella didn't hear her, for she needed to catch up to her stepsisters, who were far ahead of her. When she got home, the stepsister made Cinderella do even more work, because she didn't want Cinderella to go to the ball. And Cinderella, she hardly had time to make the dress, but it was done by the day of the ball, luckily. When the stepsisters saw the plain, simple dress, they could only laugh at first. Then the oldest, being the meaner than the younger, said, it would look better like this. As she pulled on the dress and it ripped. Cinderella backed away in horror, but the stepsister, she ripped the dress more and more and more until Cinderella ran away to the gardens and bench. She cried her heart out. She let all her tears that she held in for years. Cinderella heard the carriage drive away, which only made her tears go down harder. Only a few minutes later, Cinderella heard a voice. Cinderella, stop crying, dear. Who are you? Cinderella stammered, looking up. I am a fairy godmother, yours, least to say, said the woman, and you want to go to the ball. I have no money, Cinderella said, feeling her eyes tear up again. Oh, but sweet Cinderella, you have already paid 2 little silver coins. You were kind enough to help. Poor woman. You saw that? Cinderella asked in astonishment, a little embarrassed. What? I need a pump. Yes, it was me. But enough of this chatting. Let's get to work. Cinderella was thinking. She was a little confused, but she desperately wanted to get away for the night. So he asked, what do you need? I need a pumpkin, 6 mice, and 2 lizards. Now go and hurry. So Cinderella got the things, and the fairy godmother turned the pumpkin into a beautiful carriage, and the mice into horses, and the lizards into footmen. Now what for the coachman? I saw a rat in the trap, Cinderella said. Will that do? Well, yes, said the fairy godmother. Cinderella got the rat, and he was a noble fat coachman. Now for the dress. Blue puff sleeves, full glass slippers, the joyful godmother said. She made the dress and the glass slippers. One last thing, Cinderella. Be back before midnight when the spell wears out. I will, promised Cinderella, and she ran off to the great ball. Cinderella was enchanted by the palace. She couldn't describe it, but she could hardly breathe when she saw the beauty inside. It was just gorgeous. The prince, who had just looked up his father, and in a way that said, "Why do I have to do this?" But when he saw Cinderella, he thought, "This girl is so beautiful. I must meet her." So he went, and he asked her to dance, and they danced, and they danced, and they danced to dinner. And he gave her some oranges, because that's just what he wanted to do. While the prince was talking to some of his best friends, Cinderella went to sit with her stepsisters, and she gave them the oranges. And the stepsisters were so excited to speak. It was the most beautiful girl in the ball, and she was giving them these exotic fruit that were so expensive and so rare to find. Oranges. They could barely say thank you. Cinderella stayed until 1:45 midnight, but then she said in a hurry, "I must go, but thank you. I couldn't have had a better time." She was in such a hurry that she didn't realize her slipper fell off. And she got home, the clock struck 12 for the last time. And to the air she said, "Oh, thank you, fairy." Suddenly, she jumped in the middle of her stitches because the fairy godmother showed out. "To thank me," the fairy godmother said with a chuckle. "You should go along on your way and go to bed before your family gets home." So Cinderella did, and no longer than an hour later, her family came home. "Wake up, silly girl," one of the stepsisters said. "The prince put the ball to an end early to find the young lady who won his affection tonight." But in the other, the stepsisters gave each other angry glances, as each for their own reason. "Was it you?" Cinderella asked sleepily. "No," they said. "So why try?" Cinderella replied, laying back down to go back to sleep. "Because if it fits me, then he might think it is me, and I really want to be rich and a queen and have all the power and all the money," they both said, and shocked that any girl wouldn't understand, they gave her a look that said, "Stupid girl." So Cinderella spent the rest of the night getting her stepsisters ready. "Good work," her stepmother muttered for the first time. Then, even louder, she said, "Go to the corner." When the Duke and the Prince came, each girl tried it on, but in fit neither. And just as they were leaving, Cinderella cried out, "May I try it on?" The Prince saw her beauty and reminded him of the one he loved the most. "Yes," he said, but as the Duke went over to Cinderella, he tripped, and the Prince was so angry he took out his sword and started swinging at the Duke. I have the other ones," Cinderella said, backing away. She was freaked out. She was so quiet. If she hadn't been taking out the slipper from her pocket, no one would have noticed. But the Prince did see the slipper, and he looked at her and told her to put it on, and she did, and it fit. And suddenly, the other slipper was fixed and magically appeared on her foot. "My bride!" the Prince shouted. The stepsisters were on their feet. were at her feet, begging for forgiveness. The stepmother, she just stared, speechless, and the Duke who had fallen asleep, he woke up in a shock, and her father opened the door, and seeing all the excitement, shouted, "Happy New Year!" "I forgive," Cinderella said gently, as always, these two are stepsisters. She went home to the prince, and they married as two lovely lovebirds, and her father moved in with them. Cinderella found her stepsisters two grand dukes worthy of them, and her stepmother was never the same. In the end, they all lived happily ever after. The end. Backstory of this: I wrote this a few years ago. I wanted to share it with you. I read it, noticed that none of them have names. I actually did a lot of research for this. I took away from other books the orange thing. I also believe I wanted to have Cinderella earn her fairy godmother thing, and by helping it, I think in one of the other books, actually I'm not sure if this is exactly where I pulled inspiration, but in one of the other books, Cinderella helps the fairy godmother, who's a little bluebird, and she helps the little bird out. I think it's funny that none of the characters have names. There's a lot of typos in it, which I think is funny. Oh, and also, is your favorite is vampire? I just wanted to jump into it. This is called A Cinderella Tale, and I'm really proud of it. This is the first fairy tale retelling I wrote, and I really like it. It's not the best, as you can tell. It's a little weird, but I do like it, and I was really young when I wrote it, and I'm really proud of me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe and ring the bell and watch all my other videos if you haven't already, or watch them again, because why not? Because they're amazing. So yeah.